talking about the causing a blockage here or the damming type effect, saying it in the right way, in relationship to actually causing a waterfall effect from one side to the other when it actually reached over the top of the road. So we generally would come out here and try to make observations or whatever in terms of blocking the water. So
yeah, so we've looked at the flood data for this area. Noticed the last decade twice the number of floods compared to each of the previous really 8 decades. So like you discussed, kind of double whammy of.
Did you look at how much rain we got in the last decade too, though? That really increased too over the.
From the township data that we got during the summer months, from 1995 to 2005, we have twice as many rains, over 3.5 inches, from what we had between 1985 and 1995. So sure, you're going to have twice as much bad flooding because you get twice as many bad rains. So it all makes sense.
One thing to remember too is when this road was improved, the bridge was improved, the information that was used to engineer that was, at that time, the top of the line is the best information that was available. There's been some newer engineering that's come along that's made the engineering, I guess they call it non-structural and structural models, or steady models, non-steady and steady models, and I'm not an engineer by any means, but it's my understanding that that type of engineering now can show that this does have a dam effect on the water. And again, when they improved this road to the way it is, they used the engineering that they did the best job that could have been done. And truthfully, the bridge is not the problem at all. It's the approach.
Sure.
And that's according to
pictures are proof.
Oh, yeah.
And like many of you have grown up here and seen what it was like before and after, and there's an effect.
And that's really according to the preliminary data from URS, which is an engineering firm that the Army Corps has used. So, in a nutshell, that's what I know.
Just, I guess, one other, I think, somewhat important piece of information. I've asked ODOT if they would fund a bridge from there to there, and they kind of laughed at me. Because ideally, I'd rather not have any road to flood either worse than what they do today. But he is short of coming up with a boatload of money to build, what is this, at least a half a mile from the bridge to the quarter mile. Probably, I don't know, 5 million, 8 million. I'm not sure what a bridge like that would cost. But I have asked. ODOT said no. So
I think the Army Corps
as a state legislator, I've I guess pursued the avenues that I guess we'd like to do if we could do, but there's always money matters, and there's not unlimited pots of money. Even in Columbus.
I think we all know that.
So.
We almost didn't make it to our wedding because they were flooded out. We were there at the VFW reception hall and almost couldn't get in that day. It's flooded out in the morning still. Yeah. When we decided to move up here, we chose not to buy in Ottawa, which is where we would prefer to live, because basically the entire thing is a flood zone. And I'm looking all over Ottawa. There's houses for sale up and down, left and right, and those people are losing their ass. So we're talking about funding and all this other stuff. It seems to me that we all agree that the bridge is probably a problem, but that can't be the only problem. So do we have a comprehensive plan to do something about this? Because I've been looking at it since then as an outsider living very far away, so not reading your paper every day or anything like that. A lot of finger pointing going around and not a lot of collaboration on how to get this thing solved. And I'll tell you right now, we won't move to Ottawa unless we can get it solved. We want to, but we won't.
I would say from the Corps of Engineers perspective, I'm new to the area too. Sure. So this is part of my learning. The study that's underway received a major portion of funding this April. That funding takes this study to conclusion, which is unusual compared to the history of this study. But the key progress that's been made on that study since then is the calibration of the hydraulic models along this channel. And A lot of the raw data is coming out, but soon the visual data. What it looks like when different measures are put into place, what's the result for the inundation. So we're very close to being able to produce those, and then we'll work closely with the community for public outreach, so we can share those and communicate, the mix and match of alternatives and what you would expect to see on the ground in a variety of flood scenarios.